issues, corrections, updates? Not? I have a motion to
I make the motion to accept the minutes.
second.
I'll second.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Presentation of bills and accounts.
I'll make the motion to accept the bills and accounts as presented.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? SCADA system.
Tom, are you there yet?
Okay.
Evidently not.
No? Okay, then let's,
Want to move on to the next one?
yeah, let's bounce on the Biddy Water UPS installation project.
After much back and forth, we will be out to bid as of Friday. The ad will be free. Jim and I have struggled mightily with this, but we finally got it. We will be out to bid officially on Friday. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Reach the conference.
We will accept, we're going to do this a little bit differently than we did previously, and I think we discussed it, and Bill certainly was involved. We're going to accept, we're going to pre-purchase the equipment to make sure that we get one of two manufacturers that, or equals can really compromise the job. So we want to make sure we get the right UPS system. So we put out a bid to pre-purchase that. That bid is due back the 7th of August. And then the contractors to do the installation, they have 2 weeks, and they'll be returned and opened on the 14th of August, everything to be awarded at the September meeting. So by that time, CDI will have time to evaluate the bids and make a recommendation to the board as to which one we should take.
Okay, I'm going to bounce back up to the SCADA system.
Hey, Tom,
Hey Judy, how you doing?
Tom and I have been chatting about, we know from previous discussions that we know we don't have enough money to do the entire SCADA design system. We've just applied for a grant for the balance of that work. But there's kind of two schools of thought how we want to structure the bid for the core work we want to get done. So, Tom, obviously you want to go out, you want to get prices on the things that we don't think we can afford now, because you never know how those bids are going to come back. So, Tom sent a proposal, a bid sheet to me that basically had the contract award based on the core. Those 4 or 5 core items that we know we're gonna need to do right now. And then and that would be the basis of the bid, the totals of those items. And then the balance, the 8 or 9 other items, would just be alternates. And Tom, you can maybe explain what your thoughts and your fears on doing it that way.
Yeah, so like Judy said, there's 2 ways. One is setting up a bid form. So there's the core facilities, which is the pre-treatment, City Hall, treatment plant, Boston Hall, and Grandview. And that's the base bid, and that's what the contract gets awarded on. But then as part of that bid form, the contractor provides pricing, alternate pricing for the 7 remaining facilities. So he provides a price for that, and then what that kind of gives you the option is, all right, we award it to this guy, and then if there's money left in the grant, we can pick and choose which of these other 7 facilities are. So, but what the trick is here is the contractor is not getting awarded on what he writes. The contractor doesn't get awarded on what price he provides. So he could get greedy and put fairly substantial numbers in these for these alternate items. The contract's not getting awarded on that. But then the other pitfall is because you're awarding the contract on the base core facility, because you're awarding a contract on those core facilities, the guy that's low for those and maybe high in the other 5, there may be other bidders that are high on their bid with the core facilities and then have lower pricing at these alternate locations. But because you're awarding it on the base core facility, can't award it to these other guys. That's kind of the potential issue with going with this alternate. Another way to do this job is to set up the bid form such that you provide pricing for not just the core facilities, but then the 7 other facilities, and then that total price is what the contract gets awarded on. And then what you do is, so the contract gets awarded on this total 9 facilities, or all 8 locations, and then you pick, after awarding the contract, which ones you want to do or you can afford, and you just do like either, you just do a deductive change order for the ones that you're not doing, or you just don't, you agree not to. The challenge with this alternative is the contractor may play games and put very low pricing on some of these, like remote locations, for example, like Golden Hill Pump Station. He may put like $1, I may be exaggerating, but a very low number in there. And then we decided, well, we wanted to do that because that's low, and then we're fighting with the contractor during construction because he doesn't have enough in that bid item. So, there's kind of, we can't necessarily get into these contractor bidders' heads on how they would bid this thing, but there's 2 different ways I think, 2 different means of bidding this job. Option 1 is where you have these alternate items, and it's not part of the base bid. And then the second option is where they are in the base bid, you award it based on the total numbers, and then kind of pick and choose on which ones you want to do. So, and there's pluses and minuses of each, but I mean, that's really the way to go about bidding this job.
So Tom, could we also bid what we know we have money for based upon your estimates? And then we bid it again for the second half when we actually get the money? Or know we're going to get money?
We can, well, I don't think we can do that. Again, what we got to be careful about is, they are estimates, so we don't know exactly what they're going to bid at. But I don't see there being, and what we could also do is, like, instead of having just the core facilities, we could maybe have 1 or 2 or 3 other items in the base bid, and then have the other items as an alternate bid price, or part of, depending on how we want to do it. I really don't see a problem. To me, the second option I talked about, and where the contractor, like 10 bids or goes very low on one of these items, to me that's not an issue we can't overcome. Again, it depends on your contractor and how we want to, negotiate with them or work with them. But we can just eliminate some of these and not include them in the project at all. But I guess I don't see harm with including them all in the bid one way or the other and get pricing. And actually, what it helps you do is you get pricing. Then when we, if we're fortunate enough to get the next grant, we kind of have an idea what the pricing should be for these other facilities, and kind of give us an idea of what those numbers should be. So I kind of like the idea of getting pricing one way or the other, whether it's part of the base bid or whether it's part of the alternate bid for all the facilities.
And obviously, we're letting them know up front, I mean, I guess this is the question. So when they're bidding, do they know that we don't have enough money for everything?
Well, what we're doing is that in the bid form, where it's included in the base bid, what we tell him is, we tell the contractor, that we're awarding the contract, we'll base this on the total award of contract bid items 1 through 9, but then what we're telling them is after the contract's awarded, the owner is going to select whether they want to do all or some of bid items 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So we're making it very clear in the bid form that we may not do all of them. So he's aware of it going in. That's what's going to happen.
Tom, can I interrupt real quickly?
Sure.
Can you prioritize the ones you want as the alternates?
We can. I mean, we can work with Judy and see what ones we think are the most important. I guess my only concern about prioritizing, Bill, is if we do prioritize them, I wouldn't let the contractor know that they're a priority. They'll probably get heavy with his number on those.
that's an internal thing where we can prioritize on our own and looking at, but obviously if we have $20,000 left and there's only one project that's gonna fit
Right.
$20,000, then even if it's priority 5, chances are we're gonna do priority 5 because we only have $20,000 and that's what the offer was or the price was, so.
And just to give you, I'm sorry, Tom, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, that's exactly right. You have money left, and got one there, you can just knock it off over.
And just in bold, Tom has, this is the bid form where we base it on the total of all the items. And this is the bid form where we base it on just the core, and then clearly list the others as alternates. And he has written here, basis of award will be based on the lowest total bid for contract items, numbers 1 through 9. After contract award, the owner will select whether the work for all or some of the bid items, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will be performed. So we're kind of telling them that 1 and 2 are important, but the rest of them we're gonna, we're not gonna maybe do. Depends.
So then what's your recommendation, Tom, that the one that Judy just explained?
Yes, the one where it's all included in the base bid. I think it offers the best advantages to the water department. There's a little bit of risk to him coming low in on one, but I think it gives you it keeps them honest in its pricing. And, and then, that's really what it comes down to, is keep them honest with his pricing, is the way I see it. And we can see where it comes in and then pick and choose from there. We know we're going to do, the core facilities for sure. We have to do them in order to make the whole system work.
Right.
Kind of maybe pick off some of these other ones, and then it's less work to do in the next phase of the project.
Okay, so what do we need to do here officially at the board level, anything?
Bill, I don't necessarily know if we need a motion on that. Maybe we do, but as long as I know what the board's preference is, then that's what we'll go with.
Anybody else have any?
No, I think Tom's analysis is good.
Okay,
Do you agree, Bill?
You're gonna have a motion, Judy, to let it go out to bid. And you should also put in the motion which package you're gonna select.
Well, I think we've already have a motion where we're gonna bid this project as part of the grant that we're working through.
Good, okay, then you're covered.
Okay,
okay.
all right.
Okay, so
So,
no other questions on that?
No.
Tom need to be,
Tom, are you gonna drop off now?
or is he?
I would prefer to, if I could, I'll list some other questions on either this project or any other project.
Is there any other?
The only other project that you're on here for would be the transmission main rehab project, and all I was gonna say is that you've done the borings, we have preliminary sketches, and anything else you need to add to that?
Nope, that's all.
That's where we are.
Okay, so you,
So Tom wants to go watch his son play basketball.
Not that you guys aren't important, but.
No, but
okay.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah. Bye.
So basically you knocked off transmission main rehab project 2.
Well, the only thing I want to add to that is, and this is a Bill item that Bill and I have been discussing, we have an existing easement for the existing pipelines that's 25 feet wide. Based on my discussion with Tom, to put those redundant mains in, we need a wider easement. So at Bill's recommendation, I reached out to an appraiser, because Bill said before we can approach the adjacent property owners to widen that easement, we really need evaluation. So at Bill's recommendation, I called Dwayne Posterpack at Posterpack Evaluation, and he's getting me a quote that I expect to present to you at next month's meeting for doing the evaluation for Bill. Anything you want to add there, Bill? Bill?
Maybe Bill jumped off too.
I'm here, I put it on mute so they don't get the background. No, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
We'll do next meeting.
Okay.
I mean,
I spoke to Dwayne twice this week, and he's working on it. He just hasn't gotten me the quote yet.
that works.
Okay. So now we drop that off the list as well.
Okay. Okay, and bounce back up to Cooper Lake improvements.
Okay, in your board packets, I think you saw the note that I got from our DEC Region 3 dam inspector. When we provided them with our engineering assessments, one of the components that is supposed to be in there was a construction schedule, which we, you know, like almost everyone else in the state, omitted. And so he's looking for that construction schedule.
You should write back and ask when the funding's coming.
Where's the $5 million going?
Let us know that schedule.
He's just, you know, he's just the,
I know.
and, you know, the engineer that does, but I did speak to Lori today, Lori Willock from Kevin Cahill's office. Interestingly, the letter that Senator Amador and Senator Cahill wrote to the DEC was in early June, and they haven't responded yet.
Huh.
She called the DEC. Now, you know from your experience.
Or they just did.
Well, no, she
That's where this
I'm sure that's
construction
part of it, yeah, I'm
It
sure.
could be, it could be.
The commissioner's office got the letter, and the first thing they saw was Kingston Water Department dam, and they probably called down to Region 3 and said, well, what's the status of this dam?
That could very well be, but that's not the story that Lori got. The story she got was it's somewhere in DEC's correspondence office, and that they have to go through there to find out what the status is, which is very unlike anything when a member of the New York State Legislature, let alone two members, writes to a department head, it usually doesn't go in that pile. So she's furthering, she's staying on top of that. And I explained to her, I said, you know, and she was going to meet or speak at least to Kevin this afternoon at 12:30, and she was going to see if he could, you know, maybe light some fires.
So, I guess the question is, how do we respond?
I have to respond, and maybe as
No,
your
I would
suggestion is
suggest
that
I
we meet with
wouldn't mind
him.
meet with him.
Yeah, you know, have him, we go down in Region 3, or he comes up here and meets with the two of us, or anybody else that wants to, and just explain where we are, and in the meantime, we can come up with some sort of a tentative schedule, you know, based on.
Yeah, we should
talk to-
probably dig out that
Yeah,
previous one that we
right.
never submitted and kind of look
That
at it.
starts in 2025.
No, actually,
I don't think they'll accept that, but we can try. We can say,
I mean, the original one started
2 years ago.
2
We
years
should have known
ago,
by now.
actually. I mean, it was a very aggressive schedule that
Right.
the engineers put out.
And I'll talk to Greg about that as well, what he would, you know.
Let me ask this a point of clarification. They have not responded to the state legislators' letters that went out in June.
Correct,
And this is almost 2/3 of the way through July.
correct.
And so you would think that a department would be responsive to,
Dennis can tell you from his experience in the health department, when the health department director, the health department commissioner gets a letter,
Oh, let me tell you,
There was
that's
a
like the
trickle
highest
down.
priority.
right?
You know, our public affairs group track that and, you know, and down the line to the appropriate agency or bureau or whatever. And, I mean, there were time frames when you had to respond back
I
up
would
in
think
regards to
so.
a response. And if you didn't meet one of those deadlines, you were getting phone calls from the PAG group saying, where's your response? It was due yesterday at 5 o'clock. So, and this is strange.
This
but-
is abnormal.
at least from my experience on the health department side. But yeah, well, I think sit down and meet with him and see if he's aware of the letter from I mean, even if you call up to set up the meeting,
Yeah, I'll mention,
just say, are you aware of a letter to your commissioner?
I'm certainly aware. But yeah, I will, Peter's a fairly, you know, straightforward guy, very professional. I'm sure he would, you know, certainly meet with this.
now, is there any money actually available at the state level to do anything?
My understanding is all the money specifically excludes dam work. Because it doesn't nicely fit into the drinking water revolving loan fund. On a federal level excludes dams, because I don't think they wanted to get involved in hydro and other things like that. But 247 dams in New York State, high hazard dams in New York State, are drinking water dams. So without the dam, you don't really have a water supply. So it's an issue. Now maybe some funding, this project could be broken down. You know, and I can talk to Greg about that. there's a dam component, there's certainly a spillway component that's gotta be related to water supply. So maybe that's how we skin that cat, and we could, you know, ask for that, you know, be that creative and maybe sit down with, maybe the folks in ESC. Has a-
By high hazard, what do they actually mean?
High hazard by definition, and it's a state definition, it means a dam that impounds a certain amount of water and is of a certain size, so that if it had a catastrophic failure, a sunny day just fell down, that people would die. There's a high likelihood that there would be a loss of life. So your dam can be inherently perfectly safe, it could be, meet all the, and it would still be considered a high hazard dam.
Okay, so you really don't know if it's a high hazard, if there's really problems with the 247 dams in the state. They could all be perfectly fine,
It could be.
they're just in areas where if something happens, there would be loss of life.
Correct. Now, it's unlikely that they're all fine, and that, and I say, fine is probably the wrong word, in that they meet current regulatory standards for dam construction, simply because they were built in the 1900s or 1890s, when those standards were very different. So my guess is that's the case with ours. When you look at this engineering assessment, there's really nothing wrong with the dam, except our spillway is not big enough if it were built today. And so that has to be
And the
addressed.
slope is
Yeah, the slope
not
is,
as,
the
too
backside of the
steep.
dam is too steep. It needs to be.
for current day standards.
But there's no risk of the dam breaking.
No.
It's, you know, short of a
Well, I say no. It's
catastrophic event.
Exactly. If there was something, if they determined that there was something inherently suspect or weak in that dam, we would have gotten an order on consent immediately and DEC would have taken over. So no, there's no issue there. And that, I think, is the status of most dams in New York.
Right. So there's really no urgency on the state's end of the thing to worry
Or,
about.
on our end of it,
Right.
there's not an urgency,
Right.
because we don't believe we're putting anybody in peril in regards to the quality of the assessment of the dam itself.
Now, does our insurance, our liability insurance, cover a catastrophic break?
I'm not sure. Al, what do you think?
We had that discussion when we went through that, didn't we?
Yeah, we've had discussion and it's a gray area as far as what would be covered in terms of you know, a dam issue. But our dams are listed with our insurance company,
Yeah.
you know, certainly. So they certainly fit into certain categories of our coverage.
I think they would come under what our umbrella liability is. I think they're covered in that sense. If something happened and we had a replacement, that wouldn't be covered.
But what about the loss downstream? If
I think that would be under a general liability umbrella.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it's always been described. There are some carriers, and we happen to have one that will actually write dam coverage, but some carriers won't even write dam coverage. But we have a company that does. And that was one of the advantages that Ray Garrett brought to us. He actually only would talk to companies that would write dam coverage.
Should anybody on their side, other than the dam section chief person?
Peter?
Yeah, Peter apparently is just in charge of the dam safety section for Region 3.
Right, and I can certainly ask him, and you know, he can invite anybody he'd like.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
mean, he's actually a fairly low level.
he works for Alon Dominance. I mean, that's Alon's still there. He's the head of he's the bureau, the head of the dam safety program in the state.
Up in Albany?
Yeah.
But he reports to the Region 3 director.
I believe you should say that. I don't know.
I mean, I would
I
assume
think
he
you're right. I
is.
would think he works through there, yeah.
And who's the Region 3 director?
It's new personnel, I think it's Kelly Tutoro.
Yeah,
is her name. She was their lawyer, and then
That's how they all start out.
and then they just had someone leave, and he moved to Albany's office, and
Right.
she's been there like a year as the director.
I deal with the DEC very sparingly, You know, I can tell you who's suing the health department, but not the DEC.
Okay.
So,
I mean, why don't we just,
I'll give him a call, reach out to him tomorrow.
say,
I'll call him and
Meet with
say,
you.
you know, we'd like to meet with you and discuss it and, you know, find out what's acceptable.
we're ready to go, except that,
Yeah.
you find us $5 million, we'll.
Would you find it helpful if I had Greg sit in on the meeting as well, our engineer? Or not?
I don't know, I mean, yeah, I guess it wouldn't hurt,
You know,
I don't know how far.
I'm
I don't
certainly,
think you need your, I don't think you need the engineers on duty, but
okay,
let me know when you're gonna do it.
yeah, okay. I certainly am gonna reach out to Greg to find out if he knows any more about the funding, and, you know,
Yeah.
who's been doing what, and if anybody's tried to, you know, cob together a funding program that will allow us to get money from several sources, we'll try that. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, definitely reach out to Greg in regards to anything, any updates.
I will.
Let's pull out that schedule and just see where we stand with it anyway. You can send me a copy of that. I probably have it,
What?
the schedule.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably get 6 days.
Another question. Does New York State have governmental immunity doctrine? That if you're acting in good faith, blah, 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 and something happens,
I don't know.
you can't sue them?
What do you, Bill, do you hear the question? You know, he's on mute.
I hear every time you say that, they go, you, no,
I know.
I don't understand, what do you want to?
Bill, some states have governmental immunity doctrines that absolve government units of liability if the governmental unit is acting responsibly, blah, blah, blah. And I was just curious, does New York State have that kind of immunity doctrine?
Yes, well, yeah, all states does, the city does, the water department does, but that's the 90-day notice requirement. If we're on notice of or something you create, you don't fall into that category.
Okay.
Not immune if, not immune for anything that you do or should have done or know about in advance. Or if you put a notice, the sprinkler code, it's the 58, the general municipal law. Yeah, all states and municipalities have governmental immunity, but that's like, we never look at that and say you're protected.
Okay.
So, don't rely on that.
Did we ever respond back to them in regards to the inspection they did? They did like their routine inspection.
I'm not required, I mean, there's no response required, other than if, I mean, I do, and it depends on what he determines. You know,
Okay.
there's some things that, what?
You're thinking right along the same thing I was thinking. I would love to have a letter in our file that says, listen, we've got this notice that's going out to the and we just want to make certain from you, DEC, that there is nothing urgent about this in your findings that requires any immediate attention or something to that effect. Then if something catastrophic happens, DEC's on the hook.
Okay. I don't think that was Dennis's question, I think,
No, my question was that DEC does routine inspections of our dams
Yeah.
that are not at the extent of what Greg did for their
oh
evaluation.
God,
And I know one of the items on the inspection report was there was a number of trees growing up throughout the dike and dam. And obviously the recommendation on the inspection was to remove those trees from that. And we kind of delayed that based upon the fact that we were going to take care of that as part of the whole dam rehabilitation. And all I'm saying is, let's make sure that he's not looking for a response from the inspection versus.
No, I respond, just as you said, you know, this will be addressed during the construction.
Okay.
Yeah, no, depends on what he, you know, what he
Okay.
asks for.
Well, we'll meet and we'll go one more step further. Okay, plant windows.
We got the other quote, we got another quote, just to, and the quote, the lowest quote we got was the one that we had already had previously for $29,986 to replace all the windows in the plant, with double, you know, insulated, double pane, windows, wrapped with, in this case, I think these are vinyl wrapped. And the bid we were waiting for was a telebid, and that was $40,000 to essentially do the same thing.
And how many windows are there? Do we know?
Oh,
Is there-
golly.
It's not, doesn't say there.
16,
A lot.
16, 17, 18.
Their estimate doesn't?
That's 22.
I would expect,
No, they didn't count them, but I mean, I'm sorry, one does, it's 37 United windows. The ones that were exempted from that were the ones up in the clear story, because when we redid the clear story, they were brand new. That was a couple years ago.
So that 37 includes those or
It
doesn't?
does not include those. And this gentleman had a proposal. He said the Palladian window at the end, really nice Palladian window at the end of the plant there. He said that would cost a fortune to redo. And he is proposing to replace that pane by pane, but leave the actual window.
So he's gonna leave the frame.
You can leave the frame in and just replace each pane by pane, because it's just beautiful, beautiful.
Is he gonna use a double pane? And replace?
Storm window glass for half-round window.
Yeah,
Storm.
that's double.
That's not double, no.
I don't think they would be able to do it if
No,
they
he
had.
says
Yeah,
it's every
Sounds like they're just putting the storm on the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, because you couldn't, for a window like that, you wouldn't be able to do it.
because the frame wouldn't accommodate.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I wonder what it would cost us to do a storm window on the outside,
We could do it either that or on the inside.
on the
We could
inside.
do one on the inside as well that you could take off, so we could inquire about that,
Right.
just to do that.
Ralph has a couple of different companies we've been trying to work with to do it
Okay,
for windows in City Hall.
yeah.
To do inside storm windows that can pop in and out.
Right.
So he's got two different companies that I think he's reached out to.
I'll call, I will do that.
Yeah, I still got in New York who used inside storms because it was so expensive.
I'll try to install them, yeah, if you're,
And
With
then
these huge stained glass
the stained glass
windows, it
windows.
was impossible.
Yeah, and we've done that, in our church as well.
and was that bid, first bid at 29,000 United Windows, is that the company?
Yeah, I believe that's what he's, Majestic, yes.
Majestic or,
Yeah, well, he's a Hobson window, he's out of Red Hook.
oh, okay, Hobson Window.
Majestic is the brand, but I think they're owned by the other company you mentioned, Ideal. What did you say? Yes, Ideal. The Majestic series double vinyl hung windows by Ideal.
Okay.
So, yeah.
that includes this other
So
that
that's-
we're talking about?
That's Hobson Windows,
Yes.
but that's who I was referred to by one of the architects here.
Was Hobson?
Was to replace the windows in my house. Because I have to use wood frame windows because of the nature of the house. And they said they're the best for that kind of work.
Well, he's worked for the Bridge Authority because we asked him, he knew exactly what prevailing wage was. He assured us this is his prevailing wage quote. We had to go back to everybody else and that's what.
So this bid for 29,986 includes that window we're talking about?
Yes, it includes a storm window glass for half-round window above. Yes,
Okay. I mean, just maybe clarify
I will,
that section. I guess we need a motion to
yes.
To approve.
approve.
And then
Okay,
the
I'll make a
amount.
motion to approve
Second.
the bid for Hobson Windows at $29,986.
$986 and no cents.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any other discussion? Those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Okay.
And they'll have it done before winter so the staff will be warm.
Well, yeah, I mean, it will save a lot of oil, I'm guessing.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We use a ton of oil because our furnace is right in the room where the window panes are all out, so it'll be a little more efficient.
You're just throwing away the money.
Oh, it's like flushing.
Oh,
It does help that we have how many thousands of gallons of water in there in the tanks, right? Somewhat modulates.
It's a big heat sink, you're right, but it is silly to have a steam boiler where the piping runs through this heat sink it's kind of, so that's the next thing we need to talk about is getting a new furnace out there that just heats where our operating
Your
space.
space, not
Yeah, we have a separate heat system already on the operating floor. We just need to deal with the office, the lab, and the bathroom, really, and downstairs. And really, that there's not 4 million gallons of water going through that every day. Nothing is going to freeze out there, so we really don't need to heat that space. And Derek, actually, he and Ron, they think they can do all
Do
this.
something?
Yeah, they think so. We'll see.
Okay. Moving on, surplus vehicles.
I know nothing. I mean, you,
Okay, the auction went through last night at 6, and we did receive bids on all of the surplus items that we submitted to them, and the total of all of the bids as a net amount, meaning after the minimal expenses that we incurred for having pictures taken and so on, the net is 36,000.
So there goes our windows.
Pay for the windows.
We were hoping for that, I guess.
I was wondering if you were going to ask where we were going to get them.
No, because I was almost ready to say, can we do surplus vehicles first?
you promised at the last meeting to tell everybody. So I was just figuring, if you could tell everybody, you knew where it was coming
That's
from.
right.
No, I was gonna ask, before I got into that, I said, no, we should do surplus vehicles first.
I considered that. I did consider that, yes.
Okay, so that's nice, so actually,
That's good.
we found the money
Yes.
for the windows.
Do you have a few bucks left out?
Yeah. We pay for
Maybe not.
item, whatever,
Maybe not.
we can maybe pay for something in the SCADA system.
You never know.
Okay, moving on then, so we don't need anything.
Yes, we do.
Okay, what do
We
we
need a
need?
Yes, you do. We
Motion to accept
should
it?
have a motion to accept all the bids.
Okay,
Make a motion to accept all the bids for the vehicles.
I'll second it.
For all the surplus property, don't you want to say that that way? Because there was,
Also, because
we put the copy.
this copier is
machine in
also
Oh.
one of the
there, too. We
items.
threw the copy machine in. It's got wheels. It may be a vehicle.
Okay.
okay, so I have a motion, I have a second.
Joanne seconded.
Second, yeah. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. I'd like to hear when we get money coming in.
And you'll save a little bit of money on your car insurance bill, right?
Yes.
A little
You
bit.
should be able to take
A
those
little bit.
vehicles off now.
We're pretty efficient.
Or are they off anyway or not?
No, I keep
No.
them
You keep them
insured.
on even though they're not
Correct.
on the road?
You never know.
Well, they're on the road. They're still plated.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yes.
You didn't
No, we
you
never.
don't transfer the plates, you get
No.
brand new plates then for the new
Yes.
ones, and then you
And
turn
then
it
they
back
turn these
in?
in.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you
Yes.
just
Yeah.
pop the
Because
plates off and,
for liability purposes, they still should be insured
Right.
oh, okay, great.
until we relinquish them.
Did you get the phone call referred to you about how does the bidder wanted to know how he would take possession? Or did you talk to somebody about that?
I spoke to someone today,
Okay.
not to a bidder. I spoke to the auction representative today.
Oh, maybe they got, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
know Debbie got the phone call. She said she referred them to you.
You don't know if it was one person that bought all of them?
I know that it was not one person that bought all of
Okay.
them.
Just curious.
There's pretty much individuals, different individuals for each.
Just to
each
clarify, you know who bought all of them. That's kind of you know because you know who the low bidders
vehicle.
are.
Well, I will,
For the hybrids.
now that I can tell the auctioneer that we've accepted the bids,
Right.
they will send me, I will get the information after it's paid.
Right.
They're gonna pay the auctioneer.
Yes.
And once each one is paid, they'll send me the information of the identity of the
Okay.
individual and all that.
Okay.
Are we responsible for delivering the cars? Or they-
No, they're responsible to pick it up.
Okay.
And several people came to make, appointments. They're at the plant because we have a big space out there and they're out of the way. We're very constrained downstairs. And so they had to make appointments to get in the gate to see them. So we know there were 6 or 7 people that came through in the course of, the last couple of days. So we knew there was interest.
Yes, and there was a lot a lot of activity in the last couple of days.
That's everybody, you could give people a month to bid on something,
Yeah.
and they're all gonna do it, put it all together in the last couple
Well,
of days.
if they can see the bid and they're gonna be bidding against someone else, they're gonna wait till the end anyway.
It's
Bid-
like-
bidding
it's like-
now and then.
That's how the online auction works.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
it's like-
exactly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. Speedies permit notice of violation.
Okay, everybody got the report from CDM, and Debbie the CDM provided us with the name of 4 firms that would remove the sludge material from the lagoons. And Debbie and I wrote up an RFP today, and she's contacted all 4 firms, and by August, we should have, some pricing. It's a per gallon pricing. CDM, as you read the report, CDM is suggesting that once these are emptied, then we'll be able to do a little bit better assessment and determine which method is best. The problem that we have is all the material accumulates at this end of the lagoons, and to get it into the freeze lagoon, you gotta have it, the pumps and everything are over here, and it's like moving pudding. There's no way to get it from here to there. It just is just not possible. And so, there's a flump, which is a floating pump that will move this jello-like stuff to the other end. There's a couple of different options, so we'll know what the permanent solution is once we get the material removed. And that will buy us a little time to make that decision, because once that material is removed, we won't violate our speedies permit, because, now the discharge is, the muck is coming out.
And CDM's gonna come back in and do a further evaluation.
Yeah, they're gonna look at it, it's not
I
gonna be a
can't see
big
much
deal
of it.
right now. It's-
And now you submitted this to DEC.
Oh, yes, I did,
And DEC, have you
No.
heard back at all, or are they?
thank you,
Hmm?
thank you, he acknowledged my submittal.
Okay.
So I got an email back, and then I sent him a hard copy, so, I mean, they acknowledged they've received it, but beyond that, no, I have not heard
Okay.
anything back.
I think as long as they see that we're moving forward,
Well, which is why I think it's important to get these contractors, get the RFP out, and make the selection. Yep.
okay, great. Correspondence,
Nothing. Not a thing.
superintendent's report. I just have a question, a follow-up from that report.
Okay.
Filter 13?
Oh, my
Anything
God.
more to that
No, I
report?
have to call Roberts. There's dead silence down there. There's something going on. It's just a little weird. I've spoken to people. They promised David to come up and check it out. There's a little friction between them and our they in effect became a sub to our general contractor, and there's a financial dispute going on, and I don't want to be held hostage for that, so.
And who is the contractor again?
OCS.
Invalid selection.
Okay.
Says there's something about the contractor.
Yes. OCS, I'm gonna call down there and talk to the project manager that, if I have to talk to him himself, I will. Tom has written a letter putting them on notice. Bill will be the next. I really don't want to send a letter from our lawyer just yet, and we can figure it out. So, we're working on it.
Okay. Just on top of that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Tom and I discussed it this morning.
So are there any other questions, issues with Commissioner report? Do you even have the report? Yeah. That's where I read that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. And just an update, the large meter audit, it's just, it will be done tomorrow.
Okay.
So they're here this week, working on it.
And you say the audit,
So the first thing they do is Johnson Controls goes in and does a survey of all, I shouldn't have said audit, they do a survey of all of our large meters. That'll be completed by tomorrow morning. There's a couple stragglers, I gotta go back and talk tomorrow. They take that information, photograph all those meters, and then from that information, they decide if we have, cross-reference, do we have an account number, discrepancy? Is there a problem with some of our information, the way it's coded? And they found a couple things that we need to correct. And then they'll decide which of those can be tested, and then we'll make appointments with people to come back and test them. So it's the first step in getting the audit done.
Okay, so do we need a motion to accept the superintendent's report?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Okay, second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That was a hiccup.
The only other thing is executive session. Talk about a contract. Okay. Motion to go into executive session. Bob?
I'll second it.
Joanne? Those in favor? Opposed?